What do you do when you are in Target and the meltdown happens, but you really have to get some stuff maybe from Target? What do you do?
You tolerate it, right? You tolerate it. And I would say there's a couple things I think that happen in a public place. One is, and I realized this with my own kids, how quickly we sort of throw our own kids under the bus to commiserate with like some random person we've never seen before in the Target aisle. So our kid is throwing a tantrum and we're like looking at some person we've never met and we're like, oh, I know, parenting, man, like this is so hard. And energetically our kids feel that. It's like, what do you mean this? You don't even know him. Like, I'm struggling. Why are you abandoning me? And I use that word very consciously. I think it's overused. Our kids are not going to be traumatized from that. That is not an actual abandonment. But it is something that can shift a kid to become more dysregulated because we're much more concerned about how we're being perceived than we are with what our kid is going through. And that makes the tantrum worse. So there's the tantrum that is happening because, let's say, they can't have the thing at Target. But so much of it then becomes about, are you getting me? Are you understanding me? Are you there for me? And so we can be there for them and just keep, again, calming them down, not in a this is a crisis way, which will upset them more, but in a like, yeah, you're having some feelings and we're at Target. Okay, we're still, I got to get 3 more things and then we're going to be done. And maybe you start singing a song and try to distract and, but again, you're ideally, and I highly recommend people go back to your past podcasts, staying regulated because there's not actually a crisis. Your toddler's having a tantrum at Target. That doesn't go in the crisis column. And biologically you might feel, your blood pressure's rising and your heart is pounding and your cheeks are getting red, and it's just reminding yourself, this is just feelings. My kid's having feelings. And then if your kid's really, really falling apart for whatever the reason, you may have to leave Target. And again, that's not about, I can't believe you couldn't keep it together at Target, or if you keep acting like this, we're going to have to leave. It's just saying like, okay, we can't do this right now. This is too hard. I'll come back another time. And that's certainly something to have perhaps a lower bar for if you're like at a restaurant with other people trying to enjoy their meal. If you don't stop this right now, we have to leave this restaurant. No, it's just, we're going to go take a break.
Yeah.
Quick, clear, firm.
Our own
and
escalation
then, one
always
other,
makes it worse. Yeah, please go
always
ahead,
makes it worse. But one other thing in terms of, because again, this all ties together, but when we're talking limits, structures, and routines, before you go into Target, you're making a schedule for Target because your kids have never been to Target, or they've been to Target 3 times and they don't remember because they're so in the moment, right? So you're saying, we're going to go in, we're going to get a wagon. I'm going to put you in the top of the wagon. No, I'm going to walk. Okay, then you're going to hold my hand. And we'll push it together. And we have to get these 3 things. And you're going to stay next to me. And we're not going to get you any toys. We're going to see such great toys. We're not going to get them. And I'm going to hold your hand because that's tricky. That's hard. Right? So you are pre-gaming. I call it pre-gaming. My son's teacher calls it front-loading. The same idea of structures, routines, predictability you're doing throughout the day before any big thing you're doing, to let them know what's coming down the pike emotionally, and I will certainly have parents say to me, but their bosses aren't going to do that, like life isn't like that, like, and it's all the research shows that your child will actually, as counterintuitive as it is, be better prepared to deal with the boss who doesn't do that if you as a parent do that than the opposite, right? If you as a parent can be a really clear, predictable, regulated person some of the time, your child becomes more resilient and better able to deal with life's hardships, as opposed to, well, then my child's never going to learn to deal with life's hardships.
Yeah, that does feel counterintuitive to a lot of people. But I think of it almost as like, it's like the learning structure, right? Like, I think the learning structure applies to so many things, which is like, I think of it as like the learning ladder or steps. And it's the sort of like first, I do it for you. Then we do it together. Then you do it and I'm there watching you, and then you do it alone, right?
Yeah.
And everything is like that. Everything in life, and everything we do with our kids. So when we're in that toddler phase, like everything is first I do it for you or with you, you know? And there's so many things like that we want them to learn, that they have to learn by us doing it for them, or us doing it and us doing it with them for a long, long, long time.
Right.
And that includes emotional regulation, predictability, all of these things that you're saying, which are so, so, so valuable, that we want in our kids. We have to do it for them first.
Exactly. So that they can ultimately do it for themselves.
This is so helpful.